We have Zeraf and his infamous Lord Commissar and some indecisive guardsmen accompanying him. Okay, everyone's indecisive. We're all a little bit unsure today. Commissar going to go to the natural power, and I guess the guardsmen are just going to progress to this side. It's going to be a bit of a weird matchup, because they're facing off against the Ordo Malleus Eversa Assassin. I don't know about that. Unless... What do you mean, Sgtsmith? I think everyone plays the Rhino because it's simply OP. It's simply the best choice. Is that what you mean? So, like, yeah, we don't like playing it. It's just if we want to win, if we're tryharding, then we have to get it. But it's not like it's fun. And it very much feels very lame and very toxic and very boring. But anyway. Sentinel is being quite cheeky whilst he's rambling on, capping the map. He hasn't noticed that the Sentinels ran down and decapped his power points. That's quite bad. I was wondering if we're going to see the double IST. Now, the IST getting their reduction to 4 models, but the same HP per squad. Got a good, nice buff against IG, basically, in this patch. They'd have been liable to have already dropped a model in the previous patch when they had 5 models. They're going to drop a model soon, though, so they do have to retreat. They get a little bit of pew-pew, but yeah, the Sentinel's going to decap that. Commissar's going to be able to tango with the EA. Should win the duel, I think, because of the shield. Certainly, if he keeps an eye on him and flashes his shield on and off to dodge knockback from the special attacks. Nice to caught out of cover here. Not great for them. We'll see how they do. Honestly, I feel like they should probably be going into melee, but just going to retreat. Yeah, and Sentinel overfire now, helping out the Commissar, and that means it's definitely an easy engagement for the Commie. Now, we don't have any Stomp yet, so the Strike Squad, if they can start a melee charge, will do very, very well here, but they need to start the melee charge, which could be tricky. You've got a lot of line of sight blockers to help you do that on this map. And right now, quite frankly, the Guardsmen are not in a very good position. Building cover to fight against any Guardsmen that came out, any IST even, but yeah, it's not really that relevant. EA is coming back out again, uses Psychon. A little bit slow to react there on the Sentinel. Going to pull the Sentinel back to the base. EA is hanging in there. Yeah, getting quite low from those las guns. You can see the power of Strike Squad though, chasing with those Storm Bolters. Ooh, it's a heavy weapons team. Oh, that's nasty. Yeah. They are at max range, so the heavy bolter's not doing that much damage. So they'll just be able to soft retreat out of there. Going to meet a Commissar and some more Guardsmen. Well, they're going to be happy fighting these Guardsmen. Just run them down in melee. And the awkward thing here for the Eversa Assassin is that he's going for Purgation, which, yeah, good against the Commie, good against the Guardsmen, not so good against the heavy weapons team. And apparently there's going to be 2 heavy weapons teams. A little bit of a mistake there for Sgtsmith running back in with his Strike Squad, but he does manage to claim the life of the Lord Commissar, which is nice. Purged by fire there, no doubt helping with the burst damage it can inflict onto heroes. So yeah, could be worse for him. Only had to retreat the Strike Squad. Did he get any model losses? Oh, he did. He lost a Strike model, so that's not great. And now there's just a whole lot of stuff coming down. Way too many Guardsmen, only 2 IST in this squad. Obviously the EA, 2 injured right now. Kind of wants Interceptors, but going for the double IST opening has made that a bit... Gone for a Sergeant over here, so he gets that impact grenade. Bit of a soft setup team counter. Of course, it's short range compared to the heavy bolter. And look at this, masterfully predicted here by Zeraf. Knew the Purgation will be flanking around the side. I mean, to be honest, he's seen it. He owned his VP, so he could easily see them doing that play. And set up his heavy bolter to counter it. But actually, he didn't force them off. They're going to get into melee. Wow, they're not. Oh no, they're going to get melted point blank. Oh dear, this is looking really bad for our Eversa Assassin. I mean, the only thing that looks good so far is Zeraf has really been focusing on the VP and power. sorry, the power side of the game and not the VPs. So Sgtsmith does have a decent VP lead, losing a strike squad model right there as he waits for the Adversary Assassin to get into melee with a heavy weapons team, but he messes up his micro and rotates it around the front. What on earth? Loses another strike squad model as a result. He's picked up the Executioner pistol here on his Adversary Assassin, trying to put a bit of pressure with that neurotoxin ability onto the die last model with the heavy bolter itself, but he's going to have to retreat. He's staying in here for longer right now thanks to the hyper metabolism global, but a stomp there is going to keep him quiet. And he's going to be routed. Not going to die though. I think he will live thanks to that hyper metabolism. Got a nice point blank heavy bolter over here because the Order Malleus was forced to build gens on the side of the map since they couldn't get their own gem farm back for so long. And this is nice. He's got the flank with the IST. Oh, but there is a Commissar coming. It's a bit yikes. Yeah, not looking good for the EA here. His army is just terrible. I mean, he doesn't have a proper counter to the heavy weapons squad. You'd at least want operatives. Operatives or interceptors, and he has neither, and he can't really afford it either because he went Bergs and he lost them. And he's lost how many strike squad models now? Like 4 or something? That's a lot. It's not good. Really, you want to be going through tier 1 without losing any. Maybe losing 1 at most. Losing this many is brutal. An attempted bash there by Zeraf with the flamers. They're alright at flamers. They can help down here, deal with these garrisons, and they're good against IST. Obviously pretty useless against the strike squad, and you want plasma guns in tier 2 to deal with actual real Grey Knights, not the inquisitorial troops. But yeah, there's not that many, is there, right now? We're not seeing any interceptors, and we're likely not gonna. Well, that has to be an Overwatch mistake with the second purgation. Yeah. The thing is, the IG roster isn't really bleeding here, and wow, Zeraf actually managed to completely cap this power. That's not great. Okay, but it looks like the Adversary Assassin is going to be able to recap it, probably. If he can use the strike squad to protect these guys from harassment from the Sentinel. IST managed to catch up to the heavy weapons team here. Obviously hit them with the impact grenade, now forcing melee, so that's good. A bit of a missed micro there, or mispositioning on behalf of Zeraf. Commissar will rotate out to save the day. Will he actually manage to kill the heavy weapons team? They're paying attention down here. Strike squad running around in the IST. Sarge with that little chainsword that he has. Go on, lad. Slices and dices that heavy weapons team to pieces. Another strike squad model down though, so that's good. I mean, there wasn't a proper counter to these heavy weapons teams, so to have taken out one of them is really, really nice. And having the heavy bolter can be great against the Adversary Assassin. It controls him and it controls the strike squad really well. The problem is, the Rhino is, as Adversary Assassin said at the start of this game, ubiquitous now. You see it everywhere. So it isn't... It wouldn't be shocking in any way if this heavy weapons team's going to have to swap to a las cannon, but then by doing so, whilst you have a better counter to the Rhino, you then lose your heavy bolter and therefore can't counter the strike squad of the Adversary Assassin. But first things first, before the EA can get anything out in tier 2, we're going to be having a Chimera coming out for Zeraf, which is, yeah, I don't know, we don't see the Chimeras very often right now. I find them pretty bad against against OM. They are the IG unit. I guess you can get them in a mirror.
We're here. Let's get to it.
But yeah, I don't like them against OM because the problem is when they get into melee with your Chimera, they get the ranged damage resistance and it just feels like las guns or plasma guns, they just don't do any damage to the Grey Knights then. And any guardsman that you're trying to ferry around with that Chimera, they become a bit useless when there's melee units constantly hugging it because they can't get out and shoot, or they're just going to get wrecked. So yeah, a lot of range damage coming out there. Of course, we had the neurotoxin pistol and we got the stormbolters of the strike squad, and that was actually sufficient in this case to take out that sentinel. So it's good. We're whittling down the amount of troops that the IG has, the amount of infantry, and then strike squad and EA just pushing through, ignoring the little bit of chip damage, chip piercing damage coming out of that Chimera. We've also got a Vindicare Assassin on the field now. This is a versatile sub-commander unit. He's got AV and anti-infantry rounds. Right now he's got his AV rounds in, as you can see. That's rough damage, Similar to a tactical marine missile launcher. Not quite as good, but similar. So he's actually swapped to the Exodus rounds right now. Going to shoot the Commissar. Boom, one more shot and he should kill that Commissar. Commissar is in range stance from when he was up, dealing with the garrison, and he's not noticed. So he gets sniped by the Vindicator, and that's very unfortunate. He actually was purchasing the flak jacket there, which would do 300 damage even on retreat with an execute shot. So he's going to try and use that. All he has to do is soften the Vindicator a little bit with some las guns, and then bang, execute him when he runs away. But he's going to have to he's going to have to rebuy that Lord Commissar in order to get it. Vindicator here taking shots at guardsmen, not the best use of his time perhaps, but there's not really any better targets. Heavy weapons team just chilling at the back. And Chimera. Chimera would be better to be targeting, but yeah, this is awkward. Oh, the bleed. All this piercing on the Stormtroopers is pretty brutal. The heavy bolter on the front as well. Yeah, just trying to get into melee there to reduce the amount of damage they're taking, but they're not going to last for long. Indeed, they get routed. He did catch the point, and he's noding it to maintain that power income. Obviously, he had his entire farm bashed down here. Vindicator slaying another trio of guardsmen over there. Vindicator already putting in a lot of work, clearly. Ogryns are going to be the next choice for Zeraf, and then I presume he will repurchase that Commissar, send the Commissar around with his Ogryns, and get the Aura of Discipline to heal them up. Presumably. We do have a Melter Bomb coming out for the Aversa Assassin. They can use that to spike damage and snare the Chimera, help the Vindicator in actually killing it. Don't think you can throw down here, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? But Zeraf can see that he's got the Melter Bombs even without clicking on the EA because of this grenade icon here. So let's see what the plan is. Now obviously one Melter Bomb isn't really a threat, but the thing is, you should know that if he's got Melter Bomb, the chances are the Vindicator is rotated to the side where that Melter Bomb is. Vindicator wasting a shot there. Shooting the Chimera with Exodus rounds, which don't do anything. Turbo penetrator rounds are in, but it's not firing. There we go, but there are guardsman repairs, double guardsman repairs, even heavy weapons team who can repair as well. So this is not ideal. Swap to his Exodus rounds, going to start bleeding this heavy weapons team crew. And here are the Ogryns. Interesting. A drop of mines. Oh, they're going to kill the heavy weapons team here? Oh my god. Wow, did they live? Holy shit, they must have had... Oh, wow. Yep. There you go, flak jacket, execute. The Vindicator was under his 300. I don't know if he got the extended operations to increase the max HP of the Vindicator to 475. Definitely should have. As soon as he's seen that flak jacket, he might have not noticed though, because he actually killed the Commissar. No, he wouldn't have noticed, would he? Because he killed the Commissar whilst he was upgrading to the flak jacket, so he hadn't got it yet. So even if Sgtsmith would have clicked the Commissar on the ground, he wouldn't have seen that the flak jacket was on the way. So that was his first sight of it, and yeah, boom, executed. Brutal. Plasma guns are now out. Second plasma guns are coming. And flamers are doing what they do best. Flamers? What? Ogryns. Just being big, meaty idiots. Leading from the front lines. Yeah, it's going to be tricky without the purifiers. These guys aren't great against Ogryns because they're only... Other than the Justicar, who is very good because he's power melee, the rest of the dudes are only normal melee, and that actually does reduce damage against super heavy infantry, so not ideal. And then you've got 6 plasma guns weighing in fire now. You can see even at level 3 with a Justicar. And the Toma Titans, these guys are taking some significant range damage now from the guard. Not sure if Flak Jacket is off cooldown again. Should snipe the Justicar here on the strike squad. It doesn't do 350, it can't one-shot. Can't one-shot the Vindicator. And certainly what you do is you get extended operations, because otherwise it just takes a little bit of pew-pew from Stormtroopers, which have that extra range and infiltration, and then the Flak Jacket will one-shot. It's Chimera. It's been very problematic. Ooh, this might not be the best fight for the Ogryns. Let's see. Oh, he's used his Loyal to the End ability, so every time one of these fools dies, all the other boys are going to get more HP, more damage. What was that? Oh wow, he just swapped to Bionic Eye as well, so that heals the models that are left, but there are only 2 models left, to be fair. As well as making them immune to suppression. Not really relevant here. It is suppression, right? It's not knockback. Yeah, immune to suppression. Gives them a speed boost too, as well as the typical 100% damage boost from execute that anyone gets, just from a normal execute. But yeah, the play apparently is going to be a Grey Knight Dreadnought. It's immediately upgrading to the multi-melter. He's going to use this to try and hunt down the Chimera. It's quite risky because Ogryns are around. They're heavy melee, so they can rip a tin can Grey Knight Dreadnought apart. Probably going to need something other than the Executioner Pistol, I imagine. The Melter will actually do a lot of damage to the Ogryns, but yeah, they don't really want to be in melee with it. So here come the Strike Squad to dissuade, fair enough, let's see. We could do with seeing some Bio Meltdown around the Chimera as well to kill all these Guardsmen. But yeah, this is good, you can see contributing quite a lot. I don't know what the whole plan there was. Oh, well the plan obviously was to hunt the Chimera, wasn't it? He's gone into melee charge range, but oh, he needs one more shot. I'm not sure if he's in range. Can he get it? Oh, he's just out of range, but will Zeraf micro effectively? Let's keep an eye on the Strike Squad. They've retreated. They did lose 2 models. Flare dropped down to guarantee the safety of this Grey Knight Dreadnought. Sorry, to guarantee the safety of the Chimera from the Grey Knight Dreadnought. You knew what I meant. Plasma overcharge to delay the onslaught of the Ogryns, but I really don't know what that was. Trying to run in the open against this much firepower from the guard is not generally a great idea. No Acolyte on those IST, so they weren't as durable as they could have been. Acolyte makes them a lot more durable, because remember, you're not only getting the HP of the Acolyte leader, but you're also getting damage resistance against ranged attacks. And now Zeraf is pulling out a Psyker as well, so man, pulling out a lot of guns. He is behind still on VPs, but will it matter when he seems to have such a decisive lead in terms of military? Wow, what is the Chimera doing? Why did it not get repairs? Why did it rotate all the way down here to bash a node and not get repairs? And the Ogryns right now quite low on HP. If this Grey Knight Dreadnought can get lucky with a special attack, they might do alright, but we've got another Loyal to the End. Strike Squad need to get into the rear of these Ogryns and help out. Neurotoxin down as well, then executes the Ogryn, and you are left with a single Ogryn, which was pretty stupid. I don't know why he executed there. That was not very clever. Yeah, silly. So that was actually pretty beautiful there for Sgtsmith. Could very well be what he needs to get back into this game. We'll see. Yeah, taking out the Chimera is huge. And there's no real AV other than the Ogryns right now. I mean, you can see that they do actually do quite well against the Grey Knight Dreadnought. Oh, wow. The interception there. EA and the Strike Squad. A lot of melee damage on retreat there. It's going to wipe the heavy weapons team. So we're just getting consecutive wipe after wipe after wipe for Zeraf, and he is losing his lead quite quickly. He's gone for a primary Psyker that will be able to help him control this melee somewhat, but I'm not sure how I feel about that choice. It's going to miss quite a lot against the fast-moving Ogryns, who seem to be the largest threat right now. I'm getting very confused. Forget the Ogryns. It's going to do the same thing with the Strike Squad. I guess there's not a lot of melee enemies for the Psyker to deal with. So, 2 abilities to control melee. Strip Soul. It's just a snare, as well as a debuff that makes you take more melee damage. So it actually has pretty good synergy with the Ogryns. So you can snare the Strike Squad so that they can't get into melee with your Plasma Guardsmen. And then not only will that, of course, protect the Plasma Guardsmen, but it also reduces the melee damage resistance for the Strike Squad. So the Ogryns will do more damage as well. So yeah, looks like Sgtsmith was kind of banking on Zeraf running out of VPs. He is running very low on VPs, but you can see that Zeraf has basically committed all of his forces to this side of the map right now. He knows it is getting a little bit critical in terms of those VPs, so he needs to protect this area where you have two VPs close together. But it's going to be quite a lot of time, to be honest, to drain the 288 VPs of Sgtsmith. So let's see. I don't know what this is all about with Strike Squad in range stance. They definitely need to be in melee. Not really achieving a whole lot there, just going to get forced off. Hyper Metabolism going down again. We've got Sin Skin Body Glove as well for a bit more durability. And yeah, the result of that is that he can actually tank that heavy bullet fire from the heavy weapons team. However, now he has to retreat through Ogryn's and a Power Claw Lord Commissar, which is probably going to be the end of him. Or he lives. I feel like the Ogryn's kind of messed up there. Okay, bunker getting dropped down as to be expected. This is how IG hold the ground. Terminator Librarian coming out for the EA. Yeah, a lot of repairs needed for the Grey Knight Dreadnought. And this is essentially wasting, quote unquote, the time of the IST, who, you know, ideally would prefer to be going around capping the map. But this is what they've got to do right now. That's the thing with bleed versus vehicles. Bleed, it definitely does hurt your economy, constantly losing those models, but you will get the squad out pretty damn quick and you don't have to waste the time of another squad in order to do it. So there was a bit of a sanctuary going off there, but I'm not really sure how effective it was. Not too many units really trying to melee the Terminator Librarian, so I don't think it did too much. And it was interesting that the Grey Knight Dreadnought managed to rout these guys so easily there. Does the Commissar have the Aura of Discipline yet? No, he has Stubbornness. Odd. I think this is definitely a game for the Aura of Discipline. There's not many guardsmen around for Stubbornness to really do too much, to be honest. And looking pretty precarious for this guy. Yep. Melters ignore cover. And garrisons are cover. They also, as you can see, do a lot of damage to buildings. Wow. I didn't know that if a unit's retreating out of a building and they've started that retreat order, if you destroy the building, they don't get killed. I would have assumed it would have just killed them as well if they hadn't got out yet. But apparently not. So that's quite lucky. We got another Bionic Eye, but I'm not sure. Gonna need a global, maybe some energy passed over to the Librarian from the Strike Squad. You can use another Sanctuary if he's got the energy. It's probably not off cooldown. But he could use Sanctuary, keep the Dreadnought inside the Sanctuary and shoot with a multi-melt onto the Ogryns and he should be quite good. Yeah, low to the end again, but it's not great when you're chasing the enemy with your Ogryns. You kind of want them to stand and fight. They're not reliable AV on their own, and it really doesn't work out because look at that. Now he's having to retreat through them all. Zeraf has nearly run out of VPs. Oh, I think he might run out of VPs even. Oh yeah, he's done. It's game over. He's forgot about the VPs. He just became dogmatically obsessed with trying to wipe that Dreadnought, which, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like the Dreadnought was doing that much. What's really weird for Zeraf is that he never got a las cannon. So I don't really understand that. The heavy bolters, they were a good choice on paper, but I feel like the execution was poor. Especially initially over here, when he managed to somehow let a Purgation get through and sneak around his heavy weapons team after destroying a gen or two. And it kind of held him back. Stopped him getting tier 3 sooner, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. He had a big lead in general. Focused the VPs, which was nice to see. I'm not sure really if the Ogryns were worth it. Probably not, to be honest. But the thing is, they can force your opponent to not go down certain builds that you might not like fighting. So in that sense, it's quite handy. Yeah, I don't know. Dreadnought always just seems weird to me, this Grey Knight Dreadnought. I find it so hard to fit into the builds with Grey Knight. When their two tier 2 sub-commanders are so powerful as they are, it just feels so strange. And then the Rhino, man. The Rhino's so good as well, so getting this Grey Knight Dreadnought can be tough. But hey, it did really well, didn't it? Level 3. And it countered quite a few threats, even the bunker at the end, so that's kind of cool. Alright, folks, that is all from Very Tired Torpid this time. I'm going to be signing out. Ta-da.